90-Day Fiance. Matt's upset Jasmine's expecting a baby girl. Julia and Brandon butt heads. Darcey gets drunk. 90-Day Fiance. Happily Ever After? Featured Matt Brandon disappointed Jasmine Pinedo was pregnant with a baby girl. Julia Tribkina making a big sacrifice to fund her whims. And Darcey Silva getting drunk at her anniversary party during the Season 9 episode that aired Sunday night on TLC. 90-Day Fiance. Happily Ever After? New season stars Jasmine and Gino Palazzolo, Julia and Brandon Gibbs, Cara Bass and Guillermo Castillo, Loren Goldstone and Alexei Brovarnik, Darcey and Georgie Rusev, Elizabeth Pothist and Andre Castrovet, Adnan Abdel Fattah and Tyga Lily Taylor, and Jovi Dufresne and Yara Zaya. Related link. 90-Day Fiance couples now. Who is still together? Who is split? Where are they now? Photos. Jasmine and Gino were shown broken up on the tell-all event for 90-Day, The Last Resort, and Jasmine also dropping the bombshell that she was pregnant with a child of Matt, who she began seeing when she had convinced Gino to open their marriage. But the 7 other couples, Brandon and Julia, Tyga Lily and Adnan, Cara and Guillermo, Jovi and Yara, Elizabeth and Andre, Loren and Alexei, and Darcey and Silva, are all married and hoping to last forever. Jasmine was shown sitting on the beach in Florida with a noticeable baby bump. She and Matt were enjoying a day in the sun, and Jasmine, a proud vegan, happily munched away on ribs because she thought they were what the baby wanted. "He needs meat," Matt said, predicting the sex of his child. Jasmine admitted that so much was happening in her life so quickly, she could barely process anything. Matt said his family didn't know he was having a baby because he comes from a very traditional Romanian family. "My mom would kill me if she knew this. Really, I'm just trying to make it day by day," Matt told the cameras. Jasmine's family, meanwhile, also had no idea that Jasmine had agreed to an open marriage with Gino and got pregnant with another man's baby. Jasmine said she felt ashamed, and because she had chosen not to be honest with her relatives, she couldn't have their support. Matt and Jasmine bickered at the beach because Matt wanted her to breastfeed their baby, and she didn't want to. Matt asked Jasmine to take it down a notch, and they were both at least looking forward to an ultrasound. Matt said he hoped Jasmine was pregnant with a baby boy because he'd love to have a son with whom to do things. Jasmine, on the other hand, said she just wanted a healthy baby. When Jasmine and Matt went to the ultrasound, Jasmine joked about how the baby probably wasn't going to look like her because she's had so much plastic surgery. "I want a boy, and we're going to put cars together, and it's going to be a bunch of guy stuff," Matt shared in a confessional. "I am convinced it's a boy because this baby never stops moving and Jasmine's been eating like crazy. It reminds me of a hyper and hungry little boy." Matt, a supposed tough guy, according to Jasmine, had tears in his eyes when looking at his baby, and Jasmine seemed overjoyed. She told Matt that the baby appeared to look just like him. Jasmine and Matt then learned that they were having a baby girl. Matt was shocked and joked, "Lord help me. I swore it was a boy. My hair is going to fall out." Jasmine was thrilled to have a mini-me, and she quipped, "The world is not prepared for this." Jasmine said she always dreamed about having a daughter, and the little one might become the next huge beauty pageant queen. Matt told the cameras he had no idea what he was going to do with a little girl, but Jasmine was ecstatic. Matt explained to Jasmine how he still wanted a boy, and so they'd have to try for a second child together. But Jasmine said that wasn't going to happen, and Matt needed to be happy about the baby she was already growing in her stomach. Stacey and Florian finally made it to Bulgaria for Darcey's anniversary party, and the group took a horo dance class together. Darcey boasted about how she's a great dancer because she had grown up dancing and even studied it at school. It ended up being a fun gathering, and Darcey said she was excited to celebrate her love for Georgie. But Georgie hoped that Stacey was going to be on her best behavior. Related link. 90-Day Fiance. Before the 90 days, couples now. Who is still together? Who is split? Where are they now? Photos. Darcey then put a wedding dress on for the anniversary party. Darcey wore a very sexy form-fitted gown with a lot of sparkles and embellishments, and Georgie was frustrated that Darcey's boobs were out. Darcey felt gorgeous and confident in her gown, But Georgie wished Darcey had chosen something more conservative to wear in front of his family. The anniversary party was very upscale and luxurious, and Stacy was blown away by the beautiful venue. At the party, Darcey and Georgie participated in some traditional Bulgarian wedding rituals, including drinking wine while Darcey wore a red veil. Darcey said the ceremony was beautiful, and she was very grateful to Georgie's parents for planning the event. Georgie laughed about how Darcey was enjoying the wine a little too much, but Darcey said she was going to cherish that night for a lifetime. Georgie had also been waiting for this for over 10 years. It was a romantic and fun evening, but it ended with Darcey throwing up outside of their car. Stacy accused Georgie of taking jabs at Darcey when she was sick, which she didn't appreciate. Loren and Yara got together to receive a hair mask, and Loren apologized for getting into a fight at her launch party. Loren said she was disgusted by how she had behaved at that party. Yara admitted it was a lot, but she was ready and willing to let the past go. Yara told the cameras that she needed girl talk. On top of that, she also wanted to prove to Jovi that she had a good support system in Florida, so he wouldn't move her back to Louisiana. Loren told Yara how Elizabeth was upset at her for calling Andre a horrible person. Loren heard that Yara was the one who had told Elizabeth that, but Yara didn't recall ever saying such a thing. Yara vented about how this drama was so stupid, and she didn't want to be involved in it. Regardless, Yara apologized since Loren was clearly upset. Loren clarified how she had called Andre a DCK, but not a horrible person. She also let Yara know that Elizabeth had called Alexei out for allegedly body-shaming his wife at the launch party. "We can make it better," Yara told Loren. But Loren said she wasn't going to act like everything was okay. Lines were really crossed. Really, really crossed, Loren explained to Yara. "That is a horrible situation. It's what shady people do." Yara set out to get her girlfriends back together again and hopefully start fresh. Later on, Yara FaceTimed with Elizabeth while trying on a sexy pink jumpsuit for a skiing trip. Yara pitched that the women could bond again by going on a ski trip to Lake Placid. No negativity, only positivity. Going to the snow and having fun, Yara shared with Elizabeth. Elizabeth wasn't quick to say no, but she also didn't appear excited about reuniting with Loren so quickly after their fight. Brandon was annoyed because he believed Julia kept avoiding the conversation, and the vibe was awkward as the couple ate ice cream with Julia's Russian parents. Julia's parents didn't like watching Julia and Brandon fight, and they said they were disappointed. Julia's parents, however, were optimistic that they could change Julia's mind about having a baby. Related link: 90-Day Fiancé. Happily ever after? Couples now. Who is still together? Who is split? Where are they now? Photos. Julia explained how she wanted to strengthen her relationship with Brandon and have more fun together before they welcomed a baby into the picture. "Everything is falling apart at this point," Brandon noted. Julia told Brandon that she wanted to travel and see new places so that she wouldn't have any regrets once she becomes a mother, but they apparently didn't have the money to do that. "Stop thinking about reality for a second," Julia requested. "You think about this dream life that we don't have," Brandon told his wife. Julia therefore asked Brandon to take her on a date, at least, and he agreed. Brandon ended up taking Julia to a carnival, and Julia reiterated how she wanted to reconnect with her husband before starting a family. Brandon said he was okay with that, but they also needed to save money. Brandon didn't think Julia was thinking things through, and he said how he was afraid to go broke. "What if we miss our mortgage payment? It's irresponsible, it's reckless. I can understand her wanting a last hurrah of freedom, but if we do this, there can't be any more excuses after that. Because I can't keep doing this," Brandon told the cameras. Julia proceeded to tell her parents about her and Brandon's traveling plans. Julia said she wanted to sell her apartment in Russia in order to fund their trip, but Julia's father didn't want his daughter to get rid of her safety net. If Brandon and Julia's marriage ever failed, the Russian apartment was a place Julia could go. Julia's father apparently wanted her to have a backup plan or Plan B. Brandon reminded Julia that they were married and didn't even want to have a possibility of breaking up. "I'm just shocked to hear that you have an escape plan," Brandon told Julia. Julia said the money from her apartment could pay for an amazing trip to Europe, and Brandon noted how that was sweet, in a weird way. Julia's parents apparently didn't like the idea of Julia selling her apartment because she and Brandon would probably rip through the money quickly. When Brandon told his parents about the couple's desire to travel, Brandon's mother Betty said that wasn't being responsible at all because they were going to blow all the money they had, which would ultimately cause more stress in their relationship. Brandon's dad Ron said a magical trip wasn't going to solve the pair's problems. Brandon's parents could tell that Brandon didn't want to do this and was just trying to make Julia happy. And so Julia shouted at her husband that she was done and he didn't do anything for her. "I do everything for you," Julia yelled, before storming off.